All right, just making a quick video just to go over some of the calculator commands, just so you got the calculator commands. As well for this quiz, this is the Unit 5 quiz. So for number one, the calculator commands are just going to be the cube root and fourth root. So again, where those are located on the calculator, you just hit the math button. So hitting the math button will show you exactly where these things are. Option number 4 is the cube root command. I can actually type in 125. And that gave us the 5. To get to the fourth root, you have to do 4 math, and then it's option number 5. So it's the X Ruth button, and that gives you the little 4. And if your calculator is pretty old, it'll just have a little 4 out front, because I know that's what my calculator does. I forget what this one was supposed to be. 81. So 81. And again, as we said in class, the calculator only gives you 3, even though the answers are both plus and minus 3. So just got to double check. You have to remember that those even roots are going to give you the plus and minuses. So that's pretty cool. So number 2, that kind of is the same thing, just with a 5th root and a 6th root. Again, you can just start those with a 5 or a 6. 8 to the 2/3, if you really wanted to put that in to get the 4, you can. Just remember that's going to be 8 to the power of, and then we can go alpha y equals, press enter for the fraction, and we get 2 over 3. And that will give us 4. So if we weren't quite sure how to get to the 4, I know some people were asking about that in class. That's how we get to the 4. All right, for these ones, again, you're just kind of plugging them into the calculator as well. There's no real way to do a factor tree in the calculator. You just kind of have to go for it. This one we already showed you how to do, so all set with those ones. For number 5, again, we just have some more of these. Since these are solved, if we want at the very beginning, we've got 3x to the 4th equals 48. So we can come over here and type in 3x to the 4th power. Down here, we can type in 48. And again, our goal is to find out where these two things intersect. So we know that one of them is at 48. So the window only goes up to 10. So right now we have to change the window if we want to be able to see that. I'm thinking that's going to be a y max. If we change this to 100, sorry, I was using the keyboard. And then graph, we should be pretty much in the center. So there we are. So again, we want to find out the solutions. We want to find out the intersection. It looks like it intersects twice. Well, okay, plus or minus 2. Wait, did I type in 48 or 58? It's got to be 48. So I can go to second calc. I can pick intersect for number 5. Pick my first curve is the blue one. My second curve is the red one. My guess, I'm going to guess it's going to be a positive number, so I'm going to put in 1. And we can see at the bottom of the screen there, it's got an intersection of 248. If I want to get the other one, second calc, intersect, blue curve, red curve, and I'm going to guess it's going to be around -2. I guess -2.1. I'll guess the wrong thing first, and it goes right to -2. Just remember our other option, oops, I definitely need to set my table back to normal. Start my table at 0, go up by 1, is I can look in the table. And again, when we're looking in the table, we're just looking for places where the y values are equal. So here I can see it very clearly at -2 and 2. So as long as there's no fractions, that's pretty nice. If there are fractions, you might have to do a little bit more calculator work, but the intersect feature will still work out. And you can do the same thing with -2x to the 3rd equals 54. So -2x to the 3rd, -2x to the 3rd, not 34th. Okay, I'll just get rid of everything then. -2x. And my calculator is old, so I like doing the little 3 that way, but you can do it with the little exponent button as well. 54. And again, if we graph that, we can see very clearly that it's only going to cross once. We could use the trace feature this time. 5 for intersect. Blue, red, there's only one that I see, so I'm just going to guess right away, and it is -3. Or I could go to the table and see, yep, -3 is where they're both 54, so that's it. For 6, again, that's just another 4th root. Nothing much there. For 7, we really can't do much. Trying to simplify this one. At best, we could do 2 times 5 squared. And we can just do that in the normal screen. So let's second quit. 2 times 5 squared. That's where the 50 comes from. I know somebody asked about that in class as well. So we'll just kind of go over that real quick. Reduced radical form. Again, we can't really do much if we're going to get one of these answers out. If the answer is not a whole number or a nice decimal, calculator is not going to help us too much unless you want some help with splitting these up. If you want some help with splitting them up, again, I would guess 5 since that ends in 5. I would guess 10 since that ends in 0. And 5 since that one ends in 5. And we're just going to divide with the calculator. 9 for multiply. Again, we can't really do much. This is just a double distributive. Can't really do that with the calculator. Rewrite in reduced radical form. So unlike when you had the i's where you could just type it in with the i's, where you could just type in the first fraction times the complex conjugate, you really can't with this one because, again, our answer is going to give us a nonsensical decimal if we try to do that in the calculator. So that doesn't help out. For 11, we can use the calculator a little bit to help us out. So here we've got the square root of x minus 3. And f of x is square root x. So let's go ahead and clear these out. And we'll put both of these ones in. So square root of x and square root of x minus 3. So again, the blue one is the original. Oops, zoom 6 for standard zoom. Blue one is the original, red one is the new one. We can see the red one is to the right 3. So we know that we're going to start 3 over. That's what gives us our answer of 3 to the right. And our domain starts normally at 0 for f of x, goes to the right 3 for g of x. F of x equals square root of x minus 1. So again, we can go square root of x minus 1. Second, square root x minus 1. And we can get the idea that it is just right 1. So again, if you want to pull some of your numbers, you can pull some of your numbers from there. A little bit easier to go in the table and see, all right, I'm going to plot 1, 0, 2, 1, and 5, 2. It should be good enough. Like I said, for the square root graph, you really only need 2 points and then the general shape. Then we go to 13. We have to find the transformations. We could plug it in. So we got square root of 3x. Oops, I believe that was minus 6. Let me double check. 3x minus 6. Yep. And then plus 2. So plus 2. And again, we can graph that. And we can see from the center, looks like it went to the right 2. Looks like it went up 2. I can double check with the table too. Yeah, 2, 2 looks like the first one. But normally what we would do is we would go over 1. So we would go from 2 to 3.7321. Now, again, that's not a very nice value for a. That's because the value for a here is square root of 3. So it's not just a really nice number. However, what's kind of cool is if you do know what the square root of 3 is, 1.732, 05, 08, 08, so on and so forth, you can see it basically just matches up. 3.7321, second quit, 1.73, and then we got a little bit of a rounding thing going on here. So the calculator doesn't help out too much with the a value in this one. Oops. But if you need some help finding out the up and the right parts, you can verify your answer that way. All right. Sounds good. Last one we got then is 14. In what radical function is represented by the graph. The way that we would use the calculator here is we would actually just plug in the final answer and make sure that that does match up with what we've got. So cube root x minus 2 plus 3. So I'm going to clear that out. So to do cube root, again, we can do 3, math. We could pick number 5. I could have just picked option 4. I think it was x minus 3 plus 1. I'm going to double check again. Keep forgetting. X minus 2 plus 3. Completely off. All right, x minus 2 plus 3. If I graph it, does that look like what I got? Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let me double check. So I know that the center's at 2, 3. So let me trace. See what happens at 2. Yeah, it seems reasonable. If I go to 1, 1, 2. Yeah, it seems pretty reasonable too. This point right here is 1, 2. So everything looks pretty good. So again, just wanted to go over some of the calculator stuff because I know that's not in the other video. And I wanted to test out since I got the new Screencastify version, just making sure that that works out pretty well. So, all right, that's it. So good luck on the quiz.